Manx Murders, adapted from his book by Keith Wilkinson. Read by Mark Clift. The murder of Nestor Huppenen.
In the early stages of World War II, internment camps were set up in the Isle of Man. In 1943, the camp in Ramsey held men of three nationalities: German, Finnish and Italian. When Russia came into the war against Germany, Finland allied with the Germans. Until then, relations between Britain and Finland had been friendly, but Britain then declared war on Finland. Two groups of Finnish prisoners existed in the camp: those who supported the Allies and those who supported Germany. Those in the pro-Allied group were eventually released from the camp to serve in the UK. By April 1943, there were only about 35 pro-Allied men who lived with the 95 or so pro-German men, and there was bickering and fighting between the two groups. The pro-Germans called the others traitors to Finland. Among those in the Finnish camp were Carlo Albin Salminen and Nestor Huppenen. Salminen was a merchant seaman who was sent from Liverpool to Murrock camp in December 1941. Huppenen was also a sailor, arriving in Ramsey in August 1942. Salminen was one of the pro-Allied men, while Huppenen was a leader of the opposing group. In the early hours of the 20th of April, there were several attacks on men who were sleeping, carried out by pro-German men. Karl Tefke was to admit that although he had been drinking earlier, he was not drunk, and he had gone into several rooms and beaten some of the pro-Allied men. Several were called bloody communists, and a state of tension was evident in the camp. On the 20th of April, at 12:10 p.m, Salminen was standing outside House 9 of F Camp, which housed all the Finns. Huppenen, carrying a bucket of dirty water, approached him and suddenly threw the contents of the bucket over the other man. A fight ensued, and Salminen stabbed Huppenen in the chest. Huppenen staggered back a few steps, then collapsed. He died within minutes. A doctor who witnessed the stabbing ran for help as Salminen was beaten by several other men. He was taken to Noble's Hospital, where he was later arrested and charged with murder. Salminen's trial started in Douglas before Deemster Cowley and a 12-man jury on the 15th of June 1943. The case was held in camera for security reasons, and the general public and press were not allowed to hear the trial. Salminen admitted killing Huppenen, but claimed it was in self-defence, fearing nearly 100 men might attack him. He appeared to be genuinely remorseful, saying, "I am extremely sorry. I never thought I would be the cause of a man's death." Several witnesses described the political background to the incident. Dr. Henry Templeton, the camp doctor, described the fatal wound. It was 3/4 of an inch long, between the 5th and 6th ribs, 1/2 inch from the sternum on the right side. It extended to a depth of 3 inches and penetrated the heart. Death had resulted from hemorrhage due to this injury. Salminen said the knife was a table knife sharpened on cement that he had made at his previous internment camp and had never intended to use it as a weapon. The trial ended after 4 days, and the jury retired at 3:30 p.m. after the Deemster told them there were 3 possible verdicts. These, he said, were guilty of murder, guilty of manslaughter, or an acquittal following upon a successful plea of self-defence. They returned to deliver their verdict at 4:45 p.m. They found Salminen not guilty of murder and not guilty of manslaughter, and he was discharged. On the 21st of June, he left Douglas for Fleetwood under military escort on a passenger steamer. It is thought that Salminen subsequently stayed at a YMCA hostel in Newcastle upon Tyne and eventually made his way back to Finland.